All right. Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kahakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone. Shalom, shalom. Okay. This is another impromptu video. So we're going to title this video, That Family Man Spirit Can Pull You Out the Truth. Be careful, okay? All right, and I'm speaking to you Akim out there that have families, or maybe you desire to have a family, okay? You know, a wife, kids, right? Now, just to clarify, there's nothing wrong with having a family in this truth, okay? In fact, the scriptures talk about how the Most High delights in the union between man and woman, all right, husband and wife. The Most High delights in that, right? When Adam was formed, right, what did the Lord say? He said, I'm gonna give Adam a woman because it's not good for a man to be alone, right? So that tells you that the Heavenly Father, okay, he's all for the companionship between man and woman, husband and wife, all right? But it can pose a problem, all right, if you put that before Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, your wife, your kids, okay? You got to learn to separate the two, all right? You got to learn to separate the two, okay? Because believe it or not, that can root you out of this truth, man, all right? You got men that have been a part of this thing, and you know, him being a part of this thing has compromised his relationship with his family. You know, it's compromised his relationship with his kids, his wife, right? So then, you know, those same men end up dropping out, right? They end up falling away because, you know, they want to please their family, all right? That pressure gets to them. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's some of us out here that go to camp on the weekends, right? Like out here in the, you know, Southern California district, okay? We go to camp on Saturdays. Now, we all know that Saturday is a pleasure day in Babylon, okay? So that's the day that, you know, your wife is going to try to get you to go to amusement parks. Your kids want you to go to their baseball games, and you know what I'm saying? That is, you know, a very demanding day, all right, being a father and a husband, okay? But you got to make that sacrifice, you know what I'm saying? You got to make that sacrifice for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai if you want to remain in this truth, okay? You know? You got to put Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai first, man, all right? And, yeah, you know, in some instances, man, you probably gonna have to lose that family. I'm not saying every brother, but you know, be prepared for that as well, man. You know what I mean? If your wife, your kids, they can't handle the fact that, you know, your life is dedicated to the Lord and that they come second, hey, they might leave you, man. Okay, and you gotta be thoroughly prepared for that, man. Okay, because that is a strong possibility in this truth. All right. The Lord said, he that loves father, mother, wife, children more than me, okay, is not worthy to be my disciple, okay? Because that's nothing but a mere attachment to the world, man, all right? You know, you got to learn to separate the two, all right? The Lord wants you to serve him. He's the number one priority, okay? What is the first commandment? Thou shalt have no other God beside me, okay? Meaning that your primary focus in life should be Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, okay? And walking according to his will, all right? I think it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, for this is the whole duty of man, serve God and keep his commandments. Fear God and keep his commandments. Okay, it don't say anything about this is the whole duty of man. Serve your wife and kids and try to keep the commandments if you can. It don't say nothing like that. Okay, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai wants your 100% undivided attention. Okay, because your wife and your kids, they're not the ones that are, they're not the reason why you wake up every day. They're not the ones that's keeping breath inside of your body, man. All right, they're not the ones that's keeping the Holy Spirit on you. It's the Lord. Okay, so the Lord, he wants his honor first. Okay, now the scriptures talk about also how a man is supposed to, provide for his household and take care of his family to the best of his ability. All right, that's part of being a man. Okay, so for you brothers out there that got families, all right, and when I say family, I'm talking about wife and kids. All right, in this lesson, I'm talking about wife and kids. All right, but for you brothers out there that got families, okay, yeah, handle your business, go to work, all right, put food on the table, pay the bills, do what you're supposed to do, okay? But, all right, the number one primary focus is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Get your ass to camp, study, do lessons, right? Because at the end of the day, all right, we're doing our best here to receive salvation, all right? We're trying to make it to the kingdom of heaven, man. All right, we're hoping that we are a part of the elect, all right, that are allotted to sit on the throne with Yahushai and judge the earth and other planets, man. Do you understand that? Judging the earth and other planets, man. Okay, and you got Jake out here weak over a Babylonian family. One Babylonian family, man. These families that we have, remember, man, these families have been, rooted in Babylon, man. Okay, we ain't in the kingdom of heaven. All right, if that woman wanted to, man, she could take your kids, man, and disappear off the face of the earth, and there wouldn't be a goddamn thing you could do about it, man. As a father, okay, she could put you on child support. There wouldn't be nothing you could do about it, man. All right, remember, man, don't get all fucking cozy, all right, and daydreaming and fantasizing about being a goddamn Brady Bunch father, okay? You trying to be like Carl Winslow off Family Matters, the perfect dad, the perfect husband. You know what I'm saying? Don't get all mesmerized by that, man. Okay, remember where you're at. Okay, we are still in the land of our enemies, man. We are still at war here, man. All right. This is still the world of Satan. Okay. So, you shouldn't be all hung up on one family. All right. Not to say that your family is not important, but remember, man, this is Babylon, man. Okay. In the kingdom of heaven, we're going to have innumerable families, man. Innumerable. Okay. And we'll finally be able to, raise our children the right way without all of these outside influences, man. All right. Your wife is going to be on one accord with you. Okay. You're going to have multiple wives and you're going to have thousands of kids, man. All right. In the kingdom of heaven, that's when you can commit and be the perfect father, be the perfect husband. Okay. Because you'll have the resources to do it. Your wife ain't going to be complaining that you're staying out late. Your children are going to understand. All right. But right now, okay, we have a job to do. Okay. And don't let your wife, don't let your kids, all right, pressure you into worshiping them more than worshiping the Heavenly Father. All right. Through his only begotten son, Yahushai. Okay. Do not let them pressure you into that, man. All right. Oh, you didn't make it to karate practice. You're a bad father. You didn't make it to your daughter's cheerleading practice. You're a bad father. Right? Because that's what they'll try to do. They'll try to guilt trip you into not serving the Lord anymore and giving all of your undivided attention to them. Okay? And we can't do that. We can't afford that, man. All right? We cannot afford that. All right. You know, what we're fighting for is bigger than us. Okay. If we are part of that elect number, do you understand that we are going to be responsible for repopulating the earth in righteousness? You know what I'm saying? We're going to be responsible for, populating the earth with the righteous seed of Israel. You see? So, you know, what we're a part of is bigger than the families that we have in Babylon, man. All right. We're fighting for eternity here, man. And if your wife, she can't understand that, all right, well, hey, she might have to hit the road, man. And you got to be 100% fine with that, man. Don't be no goddamn weenie. Oh, baby, don't leave me. Because you got these punk ass niggas out here, you know, a nigga, you know, he don't, you know, let's say for instance, he had a family, a wife and kids, something happened, his wife and the kids, and they, you know, they take off on him. And then, you know, this nigga get all goddamn weak because now he's coming home to an empty house and now he's on the phone begging for his family back. No, man, no. Okay? Hell no. All right? This is what Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai is preparing us for, man. Okay? To be strong, all right? And to develop a callous, all right, for the tribulations that come our way, man. And part of our tribulations is going to be, it might be, I'm not saying for every brother, but it might be your family saying to hell with you, man. Okay? That's not for you to, oh, you know what? Okay, all right, baby, all right. I just want my family back. Okay? You got to stay strong through it all, man. And you got to look towards the future, man. All right? You got to look towards the future, man. We're just passing through here, man. Okay? We're just passing through. All right? Like for an example, you had Jake that was fighting in the Vietnam War, and Jake was out there in Vietnam, right? And while Jake was out there, Jake would go out there and go have sex with them Vietnamese women, right? Impregnate those women, right? And then he come back to the States. Okay? You know, when Jake was fighting that Vietnam War, all right, Jake wasn't worried about, oh, I'm just gonna stay out here in Vietnam. I'm just, you know, this is my family. This is my son. This is my wife. No, Jake understood that, okay, I'm at war here. I'm just passing through. And I just so happened to, you know, impregnate a woman. You know what I'm saying? She had my seed. That's what's up. But the mission still continues. Okay? So you got to equate that spiritually. Okay? The mission still continues, man. You got a family. You got kids. That's cool, man. That's what's up. But remember, man, the mission still continues, man. All right? And it can continue with or without them. And you got to be 100% comfortable with that, man. Okay? Because I'm telling you, man, that spirit can yank you out of this truth, man. You got to be careful of that. All right? You got to be careful. Okay? You know? Because as men, it's only natural for us, you know what I mean? You know, if you got kids, you got a wife, you're a father, you're a husband or whatever, it's only natural for, you know, you to enjoy the fruits of your labor, which is your family, right? So Jake could have a family and then start getting relaxed and start, oh, this is the dream. Man, I love this right here. My family, we all together in the living room watching TV. I love this, right? And then Jake gets so comfortable with that to where he like, I never want to let this go. And then just completely slack on his duties for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. It happens all the time, man. Okay? So be careful with that spirit, man. All right? If you brothers that got these families, I would advise, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, be in and out, but, you know, don't put all of your attention into, you know, that family. Okay? You need to be doing lessons. You need to be listening to videos. You need to be studying. You need to be linking up with brothers. Okay? That way you're reminded of the task at hand. Okay? You're reminded. You need to be constantly be in a space to where you're constantly reminded about the mission, all right? So that way you don't get sidetracked, okay? Because, hey, everything out here is trying to pull you away from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, man. All right, and it can be something small or it can be something big. But everything out here is trying to pull you away from the Lord, man. All right? And there's nothing wrong with having a family. I'm going to say it again. There's nothing wrong with having a family. But when you start to put that before the Lord, now you're going in a different direction, man. Okay? And you could really miss out on salvation trying to please your wife, trying to please your family. All right? You don't want your kids to be mad at you. All right? You want to be the best father. You know, your daughter is crying because you're not there on Saturdays. And she wants to go to the park and play. Hey, unfortunately, you know, you're going to have to make a sacrifice, man. Okay? I want to say one more thing before I shut this down. When you think about, you know, detectives, all right, if you look at the life of a detective, you know, that works for the police force, a lot of those detectives are divorced. It's a high divorce rate within, you know, within the detective community. You know why? Because those detectives, they usually get divorced because their wives and their children are unsatisfied with them because they give their whole entire life to being a detective, right? So, you know, those detectives, they're literally at a rock and a hard place where they have to decide whether they, you know, want to keep their career or they want to please their family. All right. And, you know, it shows you that, you know, it don't matter how much money, you know what I mean, you have, and, you know, because detectives, you know, they're financially set. They could afford to put their family in big houses and shit. Right? They're financially set. You know what I'm saying? And they family will still leave them. The wife will still leave them because, you know, the lack of attention, the lack of compassion, because this man is fully dedicated to his job. You see? So how much more being in this truth, man? How much more serving the Lord? All right? So I just wanted to make this video, okay, for, you know, whoever, you know, if the shoe fits, wear it. All right, because it's a lot of brothers out here that got families. All right, so it's just a reminder, man, to, you know, stay locked in with Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai and don't get all mesmerized by that family. Don't let that family man spirit yank you out of this truth, man. Okay, we'll get that in the kingdom. Okay, we'll get that in the kingdom. We're just passing through here. We're soldiers passing through. Shalom, shalom.